What is up, YouTube? It is your boy Cipher here today, bringing you guys a very special video to the channel today. Today I am bringing you guys the draft analysis for yours truly, the Detroit Liepards, taking on Season 3 of the Major Pokemon League, aka the MPL. If you guys are hyped for today's video and you guys definitely want to see who I drafted and what Pokemon I'm going to be using in the Major Pokemon League Season 3, then make sure you guys hit that thumbs up down below. It is greatly appreciated. Make sure you guys subscribe for more in case you guys want to see other content like Let's Plays or Wi-Fi battles and such. And lastly, make sure you guys go into the description below where you will find my Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram links all in the description. But with that being said, let's get back to the point of why we're here today. Today, we are going to be going over the Pokemon that I picked for Season 3 of the MPL and kind of get an idea of why I picked these Pokemon and how I feel like they could benefit my team as well. So if you guys are not familiar with my channel, or if you guys are not followed the Detroit Liepards, we've actually participated in the MPL all 3 seasons. And with that being said, this year we're actually going to be doing something a little different than the past seasons. We're actually going to be doing a point/tiering system. If you guys do not know what that means, I'll actually briefly explain it for you. So what tier drafting means is that we kind of broke Pokemon that are good in the draft format into tiers. So it kind of goes by Smogon, but not necessarily. So tier 1 is going to be worth 100 points. That means Pokemon like Gengar, Latios, Mew, Manaphy, those kind of high OU tier Pokemon are going to be worth, you know, more points than a PU Pokemon. So again, like I said, tier 1 is kind of broken into high OU. Tier 2 is kind of like low OU but high UU, like Tyranitar, Mamoswine, Sylveon, Gliscor, Cresselia. Pokemon like them are all broken into the tier 2, which are going to cost 90 points. And then next we have tier 3, which is kind of going to be like high RU slash low I guess maybe some low OU but high UU, you know. So Pokemon like Scolipede, Staraptor, Volcarona, Salamence, Sableye, Crobat, Chandler, all Pokemon like that are going to be broken up into tier 3 again, which costs 80 points. And that's actually where most of our drafts are going to be coming from, tier 4 and tier 3, just because again they're not the highest value mons, but again they're still very viable that can keep up with some high tier 1 Pokemon. So the next we have tier 4, which is going to be kind of like low OU or low UU but high RU, or maybe even some NU. But there's Pokemon like Espeon, Darmanitan, Ninetales, Blastoise, Politoed. Pokemon like that are all going to fall into tier 4, which are going to cost 70 points. And like I said, that's where most of our points are going to be going towards, because there's such a limited amount of tier 2 and tier 1 Pokemon that you're definitely going to want to pick the best Pokemon that you can. And then next, basically from, you know, NU, RU, PU, those kind of Pokemon are all going to basically fall into tier 5, like Pangoro, Dugtrio, Omastar, Miltank, all those kind of Pokemon are going to fall into tier 5, which are going to cost 60. And that's kind of going to be like the low end of the draft, because everyone wants to get as much as they can up in the higher tiers. And then basically after that, we do have the mega tiers, which we do actually have tier 1, which costs 0 Pokemon. Those are actually like very high draft format Pokemon like Megaladios, Megaladios, Manectric, Slowbro, Gardevoir, Diancie. All those kind of Pokemon that are very good in the draft format cost 0 points, because I'll get actually into that a little bit. And then you get negative points from Pokemon that aren't so used, kind of like Mega Blastoise, Mega Sceptile, Mega Audino, kind of like the UU/RU kind of megas. And the last but not least, you do get a negative 60 points if you actually go for a Pokemon that's rarely ever used, like Mega Steelix, Mega Bayonet, Mega Glalie, which Blake actually drafted, which is actually, I'm really excited to see what he does with that. That's kind of how we've broken up the tiering system this year. And now I'm going to kind of go to the draft format. So like I said, each team gets 500 points. So what that really means is basically after round 4, it's all free game to use those points. But again, you have to build a team with those 500 points, you know, and you can not go any lower than 8, but you can't go more than 12. So you can basically hit a good magic number between 8 and 12 Pokemon that you can have on your team. So say like round 5, Blake goes first. Blake could get a very tier 1 Pokemon that actually wasn't picked in the first round, if that makes sense. So what we did is we actually kind of broke it up. So round 1s, 2, 3, and 4 are all actually free mons, just because you know, that way everybody actually could get what they wanted and then kind of build afterwards. So Like with Mystic with the first pick, he actually picked up Lander's Eye. That didn't cost a single point. You know, round 2, Asteroid actually picked up Hydreigon. Didn't cost a single point. And then the Mega round is actually, again, where you actually didn't cost any points. But again, there was some Megas that you could actually get points back from that pick, if that makes sense. So without further ado, I think I explained it very well. And with that being said, let's actually go and dive into who we picked of Season 3 of the MPL. Alright, so with the first pick for your Detroit Liepards of the Major Pokemon League Season 3, we decided to go with Volcanion. A little fun fact is I actually planned this whole draft around Volcanion. So if Volcanion were to get sniped by me from Mystic, we'd probably be sitting in a very bad situation. We'd probably have to like roll with the kicks. So but I'm very glad I actually got Volcanion. There's a couple of perks to Volcanion to me that actually like really stand out. One is its stats. I mean, if you look at its stats, he has a base 80 HP, 110 attack, 120 defense, 130 special attack, 90 special defense, and 70 speed. That is insane. There's so many things you could do with this Pokemon. Number 2, his moves. If you look at his moves, he has such a wide variety of moves. He has Earth Power, Earthquake, Explosion, Flare Blitz, Flash Cannon, Focus Blast, Heat Wave, Hydro Pump, Overheat, Rock Slide, Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, Steam Eruption. I really want to use Steam Eruption, by the way. Stone Edge. There's just a complete set of moves that you could run on this thing. And the thing is, it's so versatile with its how to say it, with his base stats, that you could just run anything, any kind of like wonky set. And that's going to be my third reason, is how versatile his base stats are, is kind of going to determine how his moveset could work. So say if you want to run a bulky Volcanion one week, you could do that because he has the defense for it and the special defense for it. So say if you want to run a Will-O-Wisp special defensive Volcanion one week, I mean, hell, I could do it, you know. We just definitely need coverage for it. But there is a couple of cons of Volcanion which I'm not too fond of. One, he is weak to electric, rock, and ground types. So we're gonna have to cover for that with either a later pick or maybe even our next pick. But that's really unfortunate because that fire typing does give him a disadvantage. But again, like I said, say if we have a Pokemon that's on our team that's weak to water, this Pokemon's going to be a switch in with the water absorbability. So that's why I'm really liking him. But again, with the next pick, we definitely have to have something that can at least cover him. With pick number 2, your Detroit Liepards select Coda, aka the stolen name from Eric, aka the Gliscor. I am actually really hyped about Gliscor, to be honest. I've Wi-Fi battled many times with Gliscor, and the reason why I'm really excited to actually use Gliscor is because, A, like I said, with Volcanion, you need something that covers his, covers him. Electric, I'm immune to electric. Rocks, not really gonna hit me because I can run him physical defense if I want to, or even special if I want to. And plus, I don't think rock type moves will hit that hard. And plus, I don't even get affected by ground type moves, which is awesome. So 2 out of the 3 I resist either way, so they don't even touch me. So that's why I really like Gliscor. I was gonna go for Mamoswine, but unfortunately Jordy did snipe us. But in the back of my head, actually, I'm looking at Gliscor. I'm like, yo, this actually could have been a better pickup, because if you think about it, Gliscor with a base 75 HP, 95 attack, 125 defense, 45 special attack, 75 special defense, and then 95 speed. Think about it. There's so many things I could do with this Pokemon. Like Mamoswine, he was going to be a big main rock setter. The good thing about Coda here is that we can either run him a bulky set. We could run him with Stealth Rocks and Defog if we want to make him defensive. He gets a Swords Dance variant, so there's a lot of things that he could do. So unlike Mamoswine, Gliscor can actually set the rocks as well as defog them away. So if I really wanted to, that's what I could actually do with Gliscor. But again, I have many plans with Gliscor. But the good really thing is that him, Volcanion, and Gliscor actually just make a very good combo together. So say if someone's about to use Scald on Gliscor here, I can switch right into Volcanion and get that water absorb. Or say if someone's about to go for a Thunderbolt or a Earthquake onto my Volcanion, go right into Gliscor, so that's really why I like him. But another thing I really like is the moveset with Gliscor. I mean, he gets moves like Knock Off, Poison Jab, Night Slash, Ice Fang. You can definitely do a lot with Gliscor. And the best thing about him is one of his ability, actually both of his abilities, Hyper Cutter A, because you can't get, your attack can't get lowered, so that means Intimidators are going to be completely useless to him. And then B, he gets Poison Heal, and Poison Heal is definitely going to be a good stall tactic for us and a good defensive wall. So I'm really glad that we actually got Gliscor. Unfortunately, we are weak to water and ice, but I mean, hopefully within the next couple of picks we can actually get that, resolved. So the next mon that we drafted, I kind of didn't touch bases with this about the picks, but what we could do is we could actually franchise a Pokemon. If you do not know what franchising means, it means that you can basically call dibs on a Pokemon that was either A, on your team from last season, or it was on a team that a coach recently quit and no one ever took over, or C, that a Pokemon was a free agent within the first 1, 2, 3 tiers. So as you know that we participated in Season 2, we decided to actually franchise a Pokemon that was actually very viable to us and that could actually help our team very well. So, introducing back to the team, we are bringing Magic J, the Alakazam. There's a lot of things I could do with Alakazam, and I actually really liked the participation efforts from Alakazam last season. I'm actually talking to him like he's an actual person, but Alakazam actually does help our team, believe it or not. He does get a lot of abilities that can really help us. So Synchronize, obviously, that could help, so say if we get burnt, we can at least burn back, but since we're special, we can easily hit back, what I'm saying? If we're paralyzed, we might as well get a Synchronize as well. So there's a lot of abilities as well as Magic Guard. Magic Guard is actually very viable to us because that means we don't get hit by Stealth Rocks, status moves, so that's actually one positive right there. So that means our focus dash is going to stay intact unless we, obviously if we don't switch in, or if they hit us, then it's going to be kind of boned. But with Alakazam, he's kind of a Pokemon that gets a very wide move pool, and unfortunately, like I said, we were weak to ice and water. But the good thing is most water type moves are going to be Scald. You may see Waterfall or Aqua Jet, or maybe even possibly Surf or Hydro Pump most times, but most of the time you're going to see Scald from a Pokemon. So even if we can eat up a Scald and he burns us, Magikarp still helps us out. So that's what I really like about it. And unfortunately, I kind of did see that we needed some speed. So with Alakazam, as you guys can see down below, he has a 55 HP, 50 attack, 45 defense. Wow, this thing is very bad on the whole left side. But then he moves up to a 135 special attack, 95 special defense, and 120 speed. So like I said, say if something's gonna go for a Scald, easily he has a base 95 special defense, so that means he's gonna easily be able to eat up a Scald if he wants to. If they get a burn, that's fine. We have Magic Guard for possibility, or Synchronize to at least get a burn back on something, which is actually really cool. Well, we did need a mon with speed, definitely. So there's a lot of variants you could run with an Alakazam. You can run Choice Scarf, Choice Specs, Focus Sash, Life Orb. There's a lot of things. He's kind of like the special Crawdon, if you want to call him, but with a lot more speed. And like I said, he has great cover moves. He has Dazzling Gleam, Focus Blast, Grass Knot. Just looking off the screen, I can see there's a lot of moves. Psyshock, T-Wave actually be pretty helpful, because that means we can bring in Battycoda or Booker Steam to kind of maneuver around them as they're paralyzed. So that's kind of what Magic Johnson's really here for, is to help utilize to bring in the mons that can't really do so much for him. So again, I'm really glad to bring back Magic Johnson. Unfortunately, his frail defenses and HP stats are kind of going to be a very big lackluster for us. But I mean, like I said, like Volcanion, he's Alakazam is a very fast wall breaker. So that's why I'm really excited to use him. But again, I am not scared to run an Alakazam a different way. I mean, I probably won't run a physical Alakazam, but I'll definitely run Alakazam a different way than, any. So again, like I said, unfortunately, he has a very big dark and ghost weakness, but I'm sure, again, like I said, we could draft a Pokemon that could cover that. Alright, so this next pick we have here is going to be the last free mon, but not just so the last free mon, he's actually going to be our mega pick. So I definitely needed a Pokemon that could cover Battycoda's ice weakness, and as well as the weaknesses on Volcanion, and maybe even Magic J. So I had to pick a Pokemon yet that's bulky, and I definitely wanted to kind of fit in a fire, water, grass combo. So I had to sit there and think, I'm like, damn, you know, what's a Pokemon that could really be helpful? And then I kind of looked on the tier 1 mega list, and I seen a Pokemon that really, you know, really helped us out. So coming to the squad, we have the White Flower, aka Mega Venusaur. I have used Mega Venusaur many of times, and there's a lot of things Mega Venusaur could do. So with Mega Venusaur, he has a base 80 HP, 100 attack, 123 defense, 122 special attack, 120 special defense, and 80 speed. So like Volcanion, he's actually very viable in each way. If I want to run a physical Mega Venusaur, then I can do that. If I want to run a special one, obviously I can do that. And by the way, Mega Venusaur does get a very wide variety of moves. I mean, he gets Outrage for crying out loud. He gets Knockoff, so there's another Knockoff if we want to. And with base 100 attack, get the fuck out of here. Mega Venusaur is going to be hitting very hard. But if you just sit here and think about it in your head, man, Mega Venusaur and Volcanion combo. Like, that was the whole combo I was really thinking about throughout this draft, and then going to plan right after that. But yeah, I was really going for the Mega Venusaur and Volcanion combo. I mean, if you really think about it, Volcanion is very weak to, electric, rock, and ground. The White Flower covers that. And as I said, psychic and flying. Volcanion can hit that right back, you know what I'm saying? Especially with having Magic Johnson there to eat up the psychic type hit, Badikota there to hit up the flying type, you know what I'm saying? So each of those Pokemon kind of cover Mega Venusaur's coverage as well as Mega Venusaur. So it's kind of like a rotating circle, if you make sense, you know? So it goes, you know, Volcanion, then Gliscor, then Magic Johnson, then the White Flower, and then back to Volcanion, if that makes sense. So these four actually, I was looking very forward to picking up. So again, with Mega Venusaur, he has some very, very, very good stats, a very, very wide majority of moves to pick from. And like I said, I won't be scared to run a Sleep Powder Leech Seed set if I have to, or maybe even a Swords Dance Outrage knockoff set. You know, there's a lot of things with Mega Venusaur you could do, and I don't want to give away too much, but just know that I am hyped to have the White Flower on the squad. So this next pick, we're going back into the tier 1s, and now we actually have to spend points. And I was sitting there contemplating, I'm like, man, I need a Pokemon that just destroys physical walls, or destroys special walls. You know, I just need a Pokemon that is a wall breaker. I don't even care what typing. Well, I noticed that, again, we're rotating back to tier 1. You know, I'm willing to spend 100 points to get a tier 1 Pokemon. And there was many Pokemon that I was looking towards in getting, you know. There was Garchomp still available. There was Tornadus T. There was Gengar even, you know. There's a lot of Pokemon that I could get to be wall breakers. But there was one Pokemon on my list that I needed to just hammer something in. I don't care if it's stab, not stab. I needed a Pokemon that could hammer something in, as well as some very good base stats. So, joining the MPL Season 3 team for the Detroit Liepards, we have Space Jam, the Kyurem Black. Now, you're probably wondering, that's a perfect wall breaker. Yes, it is. Like I said, there's plenty of things to do with Kyurem Black here. I mean, Kyurem Black, I feel like, is one of the most broken Pokemon in the tier of OU. I mean, if you really think about it, look at its stats. He has 125 HP, 170 attack, 100 defense, 120 special attack, 90 special defense, and then 95 speed. He's a base 700 Pokemon. That's almost to Mega Ray Quasar. Are you serious? So I'm really happy I got him, and I guess let me know in the comment section below why you think he's in the OU tier. You know, I'm actually really curious of that. But again, like this Pokemon, like I said, I needed a wall breaker, and I need something fast like Badikota or Alakazam. So I guess, you know, I needed something that hit hard, but as well as could be fast as well. So with Kyurem Black, there's so many things I could do. Since he has a base 95 speed, if I want to Life Orb him, and then mainly outspeed a lot of things. I mean, think about it. He has a 125 HP, so if I want to run a special light screen set, I can, you know. And like I said, he gets a very wide majority of moves. He gets like Draco Meteor, Blizzard, Dragon Pulse, Dragon Tail, Earth Power, Flash Cannon, Focus Blast, Fusion Bolt, Hyper Voice, Ice Beam, Outrage, Rock Slide, Shadow Ball, Shadow Claw. You know, there's just a huge amount of moves to pick from. So Kyurem Black is just going to be a fucking wall breaker, and that's exactly what I needed, you know. So say if I need him to take a hit and for a switch in, that's obviously not going to be super effective. I can switch him in, and then my opponent has to sit there and actually think, damn, what Pokemon can live a hit from a Kyurem Black? You know, there's no telling what, you know, what can do. The only thing you can do is sit there and calc each mon, but again, with 90 seconds to do that, it's almost damn near impossible. So that's really why I really like Kyurem Black. Not because he's a hard hitter, as well as because he, I guess because he's a very fast mon, but more of because you have to sit there and try to think of what your best option is. You know, most time, you know, people just think like, oh, this is a good option. No, with Kyurem Black, you need to think of what your best switching is going to be. Again, like I said, you can run so many items. If you want to run him a choice band and make him almost 200 base attack, yo, that's almost Mega Metachamp status. So if you want to run him choice banded, choice scarf, life orb, there's just so many things you could do with this Pokemon that makes it so versatile. Like I said about Mega Venusaur, I don't really want to give too many sets just because, or too much information about Kyurem Black, but just know that he's going to be a big wall breaker for our team, and that's exactly what we needed. With this next Pokemon, I decided, I was like, okay, you know, I need something that can eat up hits now. I definitely wanted to get a wall breaker with my last pick, but then I needed some Pokemon that could definitely eat a hit, you know what I'm saying? We do have Mega Venusaur that can eat up a hit, as well as Batty Coda, who can actually eat up a physical hit. But we needed a Pokemon that could do both, you know? And then I kind of got, you know, thinking, I'm like, hey, you know, I mean, Volcanion is a water type, but the thing is, I could definitely use a bulky water type, because if you actually look at it, most people run bulky water types. So there was a Pokemon that I was really looking at. So for 70 points, I'm sorry, 80 points, I actually decided to go with Milotic, aka Queenie. Milotic here, I haven't really used before, and I know it's really bad to go into draft format with a Pokemon that you never used before, but again, it's good to test the waters. But all I know is this thing has bulk to it. It has 95 HP, 60 attack, 79 defense, 100 special attack, 125 special defense, and 100 speed, you know, or I'm sorry, 81 speed. Sorry, I was looking at the next Pokemon. No hints. But again, like I said about Milotic, you know, there's a lot of things you could do to him. If you want to be a toxic recover set, you know, or maybe even a magic coat set, you know, there's a lot of things you can do with Milotic. Versatility wise, I'm not going to run physical Milotic, unfortunately, unless it's going to be Dragon Tail. But like I said, if you wanted to say run them max defense and then throw on a light screen, you know what I'm saying? Then you can just start Scald spamming and even recover if you want to. So I needed a Pokemon that definitely had a lot of special defensive power, as well as, you know, stack some HP on top of it, just, you know, just to put salt in the wound for somebody. So Milotic was definitely a Pokemon that I was considering. I was going to go for Vaporeon. Unfortunately, my boy Mystic took Vaporeon. But again, we already talked about it. We're like, you know, he's like, hey, I'm going to go for Vaporeon. I'm like, you know what? That's actually a good pick, because I was about to go for Vaporeon. But either way, it was kind of an exchange of words like, hey, you know, if Cipher gets Vaporeon, then I'm going to get Milotic, or vice versa, you know? So I'm actually really happy with Milotic. And I feel like and at the end of the day, Milotic's going to be a little more versatile than Vaporeon, you know, because Vaporeon's usually that basic wish set. But what's really good about Milotic, again, is if you want to set up a coil, you can do that. If you want to set up light screens, or screens that actually in general, you can do that. You know, there's a lot of moves that this thing gets, you know. And what's the best part about him is that he's a bulky recovering, you know, he gets recovery, you know, so that's actually really helpful. So say if I really want to be that guy and run Toxic Stall, I mean, with Milotic, I can do that. So that's why I'm actually really happy we got Milotic, and we're actually starting to build a core, you know. So now we have our offensive mons, our especially offensive mons, our special defensive mons, our physical walls, you know. We just have all that stuff planned out now, and now here we're going to start diving into the typings that we need. Okay, so now we're going to be heading over into round 7. We have 6 mons now, but now that you sit there and look at the team, you're actually kind of wondering, Cipher, do you have any sort, and I mean any sort of hazard removal? And I say no to that. I mean, I have Gliscor with Defog, but the thing is Gliscor with Defog is going to be obvious every week unless I pick up a spinner. So I definitely had to pick a Pokemon that can remove hazards, but as well as set them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I do have a couple of Stealth Rockers, but the thing is, I definitely needed a Pokemon that was set dead. Even if I wanted to set up Toxic Spikes, I'm kind of giving it away now. But I definitely needed a Pokemon that could remove hazards, and that Pokemon is going to be Tentacruel. I was pick 12, so I was kind of on the edge of my seat if this Pokemon was going to get picked. But Tentacruel we did pick up. We have Uzi to the team now. There's a lot actually that Tentacruel can do. Number 1, he gets Knockoff. Number 2, he gets Giga Drain, Scald, Toxic Spikes, Rapid Spin. You name it, he gets it. This Pokemon is insane. I mean, I'm actually surprised that it actually lasted this long, to be honest. I mean, I know I was sitting there telling everybody, oh, hey, pick Tentacruel, or hey, pick Tentacruel. Pick Tentacruel. He's a good spinner. He does this. He does this. And everyone's like, yeah, he does do that, but I don't think that's going to be my pick. And unfortunately, with this draft, that the spinners were just going, man. The spinners and the defoggers were going. So at this rate, I was like, yo, I didn't pick 12 right now, but I need to get a spinner. I'm going to be fucked. So I'm really glad that we actually went with Tentacruel. And with Tentacruel, he actually has some good base stats. You know, so he's a base 80 HP, 70 attack, 65 defense. Special attack is at 80. 120 special defense, so again, there's another special defensive mon if we need to, and then he has a 100 speed, so that's going to be really good for us because he is another fast mon for us. Now, unfortunately, speed is what we're really lacking in this draft, but with that being said, that's what I really like about Tentacruel. His base stats are very well rounded, you know, so say if I want to run a physical, just like a physical hitting Tentacruel 1 week, I can do that with Knockoff, Waterfall, Poison Jab, you know, he just gets a very wide variety of moves. And the thing is, he gets Swords Dance too. So say if I really want to run a Swords Dance one week, I can actually do that. So, but what's really good about him is he does get hazard control. That's really going to be one big thing for me. I know I probably shouldn't tell my opponents that, but that's going to be one big thing for me is with Tentacruel is hazard control, you know. So I can either set the hazard with Toxic Spikes, or I can either get rid of the hazards on my side of the field. But again, like I said, I don't want to go too much into depth with him. Tentacruel does, again, he gets a very good wide variety of moves. He gets Acid Spray, which Acid Spray I might be actually considering, because if I'm already, if I already invest my special attack and I go for Acid Spray, it's going to have a 100% chance to lower the special defense of a Pokemon. So that's actually going to be really cool, or at least, you know, set up for Volcanion, which I'm really, really happy about. But yeah, like I said, a lot of versatility with Tentacruel, very wide move pool, but my main attraction to Tentacruel is going to be the Rapid Spin. So we definitely needed a Pokemon that can eat up a Psychic Kick, because I did in fact notice that with Mega Venusaur and Tentacruel being weak to Psychic, we definitely needed a Pokemon that could cover that Psychic weakness. So with that Psychic type weakness, why don't we go with a Pokemon that has a Dark typing like Duke Nukem V2, aka Bisharp. This was a tier 2 Pokemon that I'm still surprised was around. Man, oh fucking man. We definitely could have used Bisharp. One good thing about Bisharp, he gets Stealth Rock, so that means that our Gliscor is again not the only one that gets Stealth Rocks, so that means we can kind of run a different kind of set, or even if we want to bring Stealth Rocks, because our team isn't really that bad actually beat to Stealth Rocks, so that's actually really good. Another thing is Bisharp has a very good defense / attack core. So say if I want to run a defensive Bisharp 1 week, just watch out for the fighting types, then we can do that, you know. Bisharp is actually a very viable Pokemon. So say if I want a Pursuit Trap Pokemon, I definitely can do that. Sucker Punch is going to be very huge for him, because you never know when you're going to receive a Sucker Punch from Bisharp. But what's really good for me is I noticed is, since I have a lot of physical hitters, I noticed that Intimidators are going to be very hard for us. So, with that being said, why not get someone that gets Defiant that can at least boost from the Intimidate? So, say if I can predict someone having a Salamence coming, you know, barring a Mind Flamethrower, I could at least switch in Bisharp to get off a nice and powerful Defiant boost, which obviously, you know, ups my attack, and then possibly go for a Sucker Punch. You know, there's a lot of possibilities with this. So I'm really glad that I have Bisharp to the squad now, because A, that Psychic weakness is gone. B, his ability is very awesome, because again, it kind of like retreats the Intimidators. And C, we definitely need a physical core, you know, like definitely a good physical core. I mean, I'm not going to be scared to run a special Bisharp, as Mystic told me, but I mean, I'm not opposed to definitely running a special attacking one, but more than likely I'm probably going to be running physical, just because his stats it says physical all over him. So, but like every other Pokemon, he does get a very good stab move pool, you know, like knock off, night slash, iron head. It doesn't get much more, but oh my god, he gets Thunder Wave. He gets Thunder Wave. So even if we want to, we can still paralyze stuff and still outspeed. And you're probably thinking, hey, you're really weak to fighting. You know what I'm saying? Say if we get a paralysis off on a Pokemon, Psycho Cut's a thing, and not much really wants to live a physical Psycho Cut, especially with having a base 125 attack. Imagine a Defiant boost on top of that, you know? So I wouldn't say he's going to be a cleanup mon, but he's definitely going to be a Pokemon that could be very helpful. He does get Taunt, he gets Swords Dance, which could actually be really cool. So imagine Swords Dance, Sucker Punch. Don't even want to think about it. So again, I'm very glad that we got Bisharp again for his stats, his ability, but more importantly, his coverage for Tentacruel. So like Tentacruel and Uzi, they're going to kind of be covering each other. Unfortunately, we do have a ground weakness, but again, we have Pokemon in the back that can cover that. So I'm actually really hyped that we actually got Bisharp, especially in the situation that we are in. Now with the addition of Fairy typing as of 3 years ago, every time you're going to be in a draft, you're always going to hear in a draft, oh hey, it's always good to have a Fairy type Pokemon, which is true. And also with Fairy, it does cover Bisharp, and it covers Kyurem Black. So with having 120 points left out of 500, we needed a Pokemon that was a good wall with a lot of HP. We definitely needed an Intimidator still. And just overall, we needed a Pokemon that could heal just in case if we got burnt or paralyzed or poisoned or even confused. I don't know if that even works. But the Pokemon that I was thinking of in Tier 5 is going to be a Pokemon that we did have in MPL Season 2. And you probably have already guessed it, which is going to be Gramble, aka Tank. So we're going to be bringing back Tank and Magic Johnson. So I'm actually really happy that we're bringing back Tank, because Tank did actually do a lot of work. What I really like about him is that he does, again, like I said, he helps us get status change, you know what I'm saying? So say if Bisharp gets burnt, or Kyurem Black gets burnt, or Gliscor gets burnt, you know, Heal Bell right there, you know, or even paralyzed or toxic, or, you know, or I guess, or I wouldn't say toxic, but poisoned, you know. What's the really good thing about him is that he can actually Heal Bell up, you know, what's actually pretty awesome. Like last season, I ran a lot of Choice Banded Gramble, you know, so with that Stab Fairy, as the old-fashioned saying goes, you need a Fairy type in draft format, you know, a hard-hitting physical Gramble with, you know, Play Rough, Close Combat, Earthquake, and Fire Punch for the Steel types. I don't know, something like that. You know, he's really a good asset to Pokemon. You know what I'm saying? So with having Gramble, he does have a 90 base HP again, which is going to be one of our highest ones. I think he's the second, or no, he's third highest, because Kyurem Black still has 125, which is insane. Then he has a base 120 attack, 75 defense, 60 special attack, 60 special defense, and then 45 speed. So he's not going to be our fastest mon, which again, I did say we are lacking. But at the end of the day, his base HP is going to help us out a lot, because we definitely need a mon that can, again, eat up some hits. Even having a base 90 HP, he can still invest that towards, you know, defense or special defense, as well as be hard-hitting Pokemon. So that's really what I like about him. Another thing, like I said, we need an Intimidator, and we have one now with Gramble. I mean, even though I would prefer a Special Fairy, you know, possibly like Pixelate, but unfortunately Sylveon, Gardevoir, because Mystic actually took Gardevoir, which is rather unfortunate. But again, I really didn't want another Psychic type, because that would have been just another knockoff slave, you know. But again, like I said, what's really cool is, again, we have the Intimidate ability, so that means physical hitters are going to have to tremble in our feet, you know what I'm saying? And I'm actually pretty happy with Gramble to bring back, to be honest. And again, like I said, he has a great move pool. Close Combat, Dazzling Gleam, probably will never run Special Gramble. That's even worse than Special Bisharp. But Low Kick, Ice Fang, Ice Punch, Outrage, Overheat, you know? So say if, you know, just say if everyone's going to be expecting Play Rough, you know, you can just hit him with a fucking Outrage, and they're going to be like, what the fuck, that just happened? But Sludge Bomb, Stone Edge, you know, so he gets a lot of moves that he shouldn't actually have, you know. So Gramble is actually going to be a very good viable mon, and for this next pick, he's definitely going to cover him. And with our 10th pick, our last mod for the squad for the Detroit Liepards, we have a Pokemon that we recently used in a Wi-Fi battle, and this thing just hit hard. But again, not only does he hit hard, he's a very good HP stat, because if we couldn't get speed, then we're definitely going to go for HP, because that's what we were definitely lacking. So I wanted a Pokemon that I used recently in Wi-Fi battles, and I was like, yo, I really want to use this Pokemon more. So bring it to the squad for the first time ever. I think this is actually going to be the first time this Pokemon's been drafted in format that I've seen. We have Pangoro, aka Mark Hunt, coming to the squad. Pangoro, I loved this Pokemon ever since. Like, I think he's probably my favorite 6th gen Pokemon. There's a lot of reasons to why I say that, but one big reason for me is his ability. I love his attack stat and his ability. So, if you guys did not know, his base stats are 95 HP, 124 attack, 78 defense, 69 special attack, 71 special defense, and then 58 speed. So he's already outdoing Gramble as it is, you know. Big flaw with Pangoro is he's 4 times weak to Fairy, which is rather unfortunate, being dark and fighting. But the good thing is we do have some fighting stab now, and we have 2 dark type stabs as well, so that's actually pretty cool. But what I really like about him is his Iron Fist ability. So that means we can throw punching moves on him, and we can either do whatever we want. You know, he has a base 58 speed. Unfortunately, that's very slow. But with that being said, I mean, we could easily choice band him. We could run max HP, so that, you know, that means he can actually live a hit. There's just a lot of factors to it, and what's really good though is he does have a lot of coverage for the fairy types, you know. So he does in fact actually get Gunk Shot, which is actually pretty awesome, as well as Poison Jab. So say if we choice banded him, Life Orbed him, you know, as long as he can hit a hit and then return back. And like I said, as famous, we do have another knockoff. These past 4 Pokemon all learn knockoff. Bisharp learns knockoff, Tank learns knockoff, Mark Hunt learns knockoff, and Tentacruel learns knockoff. So we have a lot of knockoff mons, which is actually pretty cool. But I mean, again, we won't be running it, but again, he does get a very wide move pool as well. I do like to include the move pools into my draft analysis, just because it's awesome to see what these Pokemon can do as well, you know, what they're working with for their stats. So he has Poison Jab, Parting Shot, and actually Parting Shot may be even helpful if we can get it off. But he has Shadow Claw, Rock Slide, Power Up Punch, Outrage, Low Kick, Knockoff, Iron Head. I mean, you name a physical move this Pokemon gets. I mean, Jesus, he gets Dark Pulse even. Dark Pulse. Like, what am I going to run Dark Pulse? Well, he does have almost a 70, so he's almost to Mega Gyarados. But yeah, that's definitely Pangoro, and I'm definitely happy with this pick. Hopefully he doesn't disappoint me, because I'm going to be crushed if he disappoints me. But yeah, that's going to actually conclude all the Pokemon that we have picked up in our Season 3 draft of the Major Pokemon League for yours truly, the Detroit Liepards. Alright guys, so the first game of the season is going to be against Poi, the Michigan in-state rivalry, the Miami Heat Mortars versus the Detroit Liepards, June 19th. I don't think there's a certain time, but that will be our first upload, so we're going to probably have our match pretty soon, as I'm recording this on June 4th, after the draft, obviously. But yeah, again, Poi did snipe me from Pangoro, or no, from, it was either Gramble or it was either Pangoro. I think it was Pangoro though, but yes, definitely sniped me in the last round. So Poi, I am coming after that ass. If you were seeing this, which I know you are, I'm coming after that ass, and it's gonna be a great time. So again, like I said, come out to there. I will have 2 uploads for my other league, which I am part of, the NPL, which I'll get into that in a different video. But like I said, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up down below. It's gonna be greatly appreciated. Make sure you guys put in the comment section below for who you're rooting for. Truly, you already know who you are. Hashtag Detroit Liepards. Let's go. And with that being said, I'm gonna get up out of here. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that thumbs up as well. If you want to hit that thumbs down, at least let me know in the comment section below what I can improve on for the channel's sake. And with that being said, go follow my Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Those links are in the description below. Make sure you guys go check out everyone in the NPL as well. They're all my good friends. We have a call almost every night. It's awesome. But lastly, I think that's going to be all. So please have yourselves a great morning, night, evening, day, wherever you're at, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you for watching. What is cracking, cuz? See ya.